part number of the Flaming River Pinto manual steering rack we'll be using today is FR1501. In addition, we'll be using Skyview race cars SBRC-110001 bump steer kit. Enjoy the video. Welcome back to Bad Attitude C-10. Today we'll be installing our rack and pinion on our C-10 chassis that we picked up from Flaming River, and a bump steer kit that we bought to correct our geometry and our steering linkage due to us dropping the front end 3.5 inches. Alright guys, up next we're going to be putting in our rack and pinion, and if you notice that our crossmember has, they said a mounting hose here and there. So we're going to get the rack, go ahead and set it across there first. Pull that cap off, that way the washer on this bolt will fit. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of 3/16 scrap metal and make us a bracket to space out our mounting points for our rack. So I'm going to use the bottom plate to our mount. And a marker. Then using our trusty cutoff wheel, we're going to go ahead and make our cut. This little cutter's a piece of shit, quite frankly. It throws a little breaker all the time. Alright guys, I had to step up to my 4-inch grinder. That little one kept throwing the circuit breaker on it, so let's get out the big boy. Here we go. Alright, now that we got our hose marked, using our spacer as a guide, we're going to run over the drill press and drill out some holes. Alright guys, we're over the drill press. And even though I'm using a drill press, I like to drill a pilot hole with smaller bits first. So go ahead and find our hole. Alright, so now we're going to change our drill bit to the next size up that we want to go. So now with all of our holes being done, we'll make sure that our 3/8 bolt will fit through them. Everything looks good, so we're going to go and take these and spray them with some rust encapsulators until they dry. While that dries, we'll go ahead and go and set up the rack on the driver's side. Alright guys, since the 3/16 plate is actually going to raise our rack up on the passenger side, we found some washers that we can use to space between the rack mount and the rack itself. That should give us the right height to where our rack is still level from side to side. the bottom side, we're going to use a regular flat washer and an eye lock nut. With both of them being installed now, we're going to wait until we install the bracket on the passenger side to tighten our fasteners using 5/8 sockets and ratchets. Alright guys, with our bracket paint dry, we're going to go ahead and install it on our rack and pinion. With the bracket installed, we're now going to put the backing plate on our mount. Followed up with the top of the mount. Then a regular flat washer and an eye lock nut. With that being done, we'll tighten up our rack. To tighten the driver's side. Now, one of those major step backs, or should I say setbacks, on this is the hardware that comes with the bump steer kit will not fit the factory A-arms. So we're going to have to drill the A-arms out to accept the hardware that came with the bump steer kit. Alright, we're going to use a 1/2 inch drill bit to drill out our steer arm to where to accept the hardware that came with our bump steer kit. Lucky for me, my cordless drill would chuck up a 1/2 inch bit, so this shouldn't be too hard. Easy as that. Hang tight and we'll get to the install. So our bump steer kit comes with arms that are threaded, and they also have spherical joints on them. What this is going to allow us to do is we're going to be able to change the geometry in relationship to where the tie rod would normally end up, since we're drop spindling our front end. So this gives us a lot more adjustability and capability of having more travel. So for now, since we don't have the weight on the vehicle, we're just going to go ahead and mock it up, put them on, and space them to where they're at hang weight. Once we get the chassis set up, we will have to re-shim it so it's at the proper geometry. So we're going to start off by putting our collar onto our shaft. Now, this Flaming River kit did not come with jam nuts for some reason, and I found out that they said they're 9/16 fine online, so I ordered some, and believe it or not, they don't fit. So I'm going to have to find out which jam nuts will actually fit this, and whenever we do the final setup, we will be putting jam nuts on them. So you guys that see us installing this without jam nuts, we will be putting jam nuts on them whenever everything's finished and finalized. So let's get to the install. Alright guys, here you can see the space we have between the hind joint and the bump steer kit. So let's get over to installing the other side. That's going to finish this one up.
Comment section, as always, has been turned off. If you need to contact us, you can reach us at texasdragracer@yahoo.com. Please like and subscribe.